Might ruffle a few feathers with this one. Thriller, A Cruel Picture is a classic and influential Grindhouse exploitation film, and I don't like it. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. Today I'm taking a look at a particularly nasty Swedish exploitation film that you've probably already heard of. Thriller, A Cruel Picture, also known as They Call Her One Eye. We open with a little girl playing in the park with an old man. He makes some faces, they spin around, his mouth starts to bleed, he makes some more faces at the camera, and then the girl is being hugged by the mom and the police are taking the man away. It's all kind of abstract, but we can probably tell what happened. But don't worry, even if you missed it, the exposition sisters in the next scene lay it all out for us.
They say she'll never talk again.
But I'll tell you what, if you've ever seen Christina Lindberg act in movies like Sex and Fury, you'll be thankful that she's mute.
What's it been, 15 years now?
Sure.
Someone said that old man is dead now. He never even went to prison. What kind of laws have we got anyway?
One day, Frigga misses the bus and accepts a ride from a good-looking and smooth-talking man, Tony. He takes her out to a nice steak dinner, gets her some wine, and then he gets her hooked on heroin and forces her to be a prostitute. What? Yeah. Welcome to the Grindhouse, mother... Tony tells her that without a hit every 48 hours or so, she'll die, and even with that warning, Frigga tries to escape. It doesn't work. But the fight isn't out of her yet. When her first client shows up, she scratches the hell out of his face.
So you're the new one. Well, take off your clothes.
Unfortunately, she is punished for that transgression quite severely. The scene is reminiscent of the Buñuel Dali short film, Un Chien de Loup, if you've seen that. The difference is here in Thriller, it's a real human eye. What? Yeah! Welcome to the Grindhouse, motherfucker. Frigga meets a fellow working girl, Sally. Well, working girl? That's too nice. A fellow slave? And Sally tells her that it's probably better to keep using the heroin because trying to quit it on your own is super uncomfortable and really difficult. Besides, it makes the lifestyle tolerable. But she tells Frigga she can make some extra money by charging her clients for some extra services, and tells her that her plan is to use the money she stashed away to escape and go to a heroin clinic. But we're about to find out that Frigga is going to use her money for something else entirely. But first, she has a few parents to mourn. When Frigga first showed up at Tony's, or when Tony first brought her there, he had her sign some letters that he then sent to Frigga's parents. And the letters were really nasty, saying how Frigga hated them and wanted to strike out on her own and was in love and, whatever. And the parents really didn't take this well, and they killed themselves. And when Frigga learns about this, she starts to spend her money and her free time learning how to drive, how to shoot weapons, and how to fight. She has a plan, and after she's sufficiently trained up, it's time to put that plan into action and kill everyone who has done her wrong. And that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. Well, on paper, I love this story. The kidnapping of this sweet, innocent girl and being forced into prostitution, and then how she uses her money to train herself to be the kind of badass necessary to extract revenge, or, maybe we'll say justice. That's really cool. And to sell an awesome story like that, you need a pretty cool protagonist and a pretty cool villain, and this movie has both. Tony is truly a despicable person. I mean, the kidnapping and forced prostitution, that's bad, obviously. But then to send those letters to the parents that led to their suicide, that is next level evil. And because it was next level evil, it was a lot of fun watching him die. In fact, his death is one of the most creative, or actually the only creative one that we see. It's a lot of fun. I won't spoil it, but it's pretty cool. And Christina Lindberg really is perfect here as Frigga. She's quite beautiful, and her doe-eyed face just really does a lot to engender our sympathies. Oh, and I heard that her look was one of the inspirations for Daryl Hannah's character's look in Kill Bill. Although, maybe Patch from Switchblade Sisters played a role in that too? I don't know. ¿Por qué no los dos? Unfortunately, though, despite the awesome story, potentially awesome story, and despite the sympathetic protagonist and horrible villain, the shortcomings of this film way overshadow its merits. Well, one of the reasons people like me like to watch revenge films is for that revenge. It's really satisfying to see someone who was a victim strengthen themselves in some way and find themselves in a position to be able to extract justice on their own. That's why we watch these. But in this movie, with the exception of Tony's death that I talked about before, the revenge scenes suck. They're all shot in this torturously slow motion that goes on for way too long. I imagine it was supposed to, somehow make the deaths more impactful. It doesn't. All it does is make them a bit silly, and worse, boring. Don't believe me? Let's watch one. Is it over? Come on. Come on. A little more. Come on. Since the main satisfaction, the only satisfaction in a revenge movie is that revenge, you can't mess that up. If Act 3 is bad, the movie is bad, and this movie is bad. But there's still some other things I don't like too. For one, her weapon choice. I mean, she spends all this money on weapons training, and then when it comes time for revenge, she picks a shotgun. You don't need weapons training for a shotgun. Particularly a sawed-off shotgun. If the target's in front of you, you're gonna hit it. Where was the scene where she sniped someone from 50 yards out and their face explodes into their Swedish meatballs? That would have been cool. And finally, and this last complaint will only apply to one cut to the film, there's two cuts of the films out there. One is a completely uncut one, and one is like a cut, like rated R one. And in the uncut one, they have inserted hardcore pornographic scenes into the sex scenes, and it's completely unnecessary. It's not Christina Lindberg. They hired like a traveling couple who perform like sex acts or whatever to do these scenes. And yeah, so you can tell it's not Christina and the actor that's in the scene with her. And yeah, they just spliced them in, and yeah, it's not good at all. Like, totally distracting, completely unnecessary. And also, in that uncut scene, you see the full, eye gouging scene, and that scene doesn't really sit well with me. Using a real human cadaver for that scene, did that girl consent to having her body be mutilated for a film? I don't know, but I doubt it. And yeah, that's at best, it's morally questionable, at best. So yeah, I don't really like it. You don't really need the gore anyway. I mean, the scene's pretty effective even without, that few seconds where they actually mutilate a corpse. So yeah, because of that, or because of because of the hardcore porn, and because of the perhaps non-consensual body mutilation, I'm going to say, and this is the only time you'll probably ever hear me say this, but I'm going to say, if you watch the movie, watch the cut version. But overall, regardless of which version we're talking about, this is a flawed film. Yes, it's got a cool story, and yeah, Frigga is a cool protagonist with great style. One of the revenge murders is pretty great, but that's not enough. I know it's a Grindhouse classic, I know it's an influential film, and for those reasons alone do I say stream it. I don't like this movie. I don't think you're going to like it very much either. But sometimes we watch films just to say that we have watched them, and more importantly, for influential films like this one, so that we can see its influences on much better films. And that's about the only good thing I can say about Thriller: A Cruel Picture. It has influenced some much better films.